Hello, world. Not that there's much of a world left. Well, okay. The Earth is still here, but you're not on it. Well, maybe your body is still out there somewhere. I better watch where I step. Oh, come on. Don't feel sorry for yourself. You knew this shit wasn't going to last. Be honest. I'm sure I'll have some bots as an audience. Maybe. Let's go back in time first. This is I Am Wright, and welcome to a special edition of the Destino Dispatch podcast, your 2 minutes or so of what's happening on our big ball. This week's sponsor is the Redwood Tavern, the place to go to melt away your troubles. Thanks, George. President Donald John Trump is being treated for COVID-19 at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Quick fact. Did you know that Bethesda is from the New Testament and was a pool in Jerusalem reputed to have healing powers? Jesus healed a paralyzed man there. John chapter 5, verse 2. President Trump has received an experimental monoclonal antibody made by Regeneron Pharmaceuticals, Inc. as part of his treatment to fight the novel coronavirus. Some medical experts say that the president's symptoms are likely worse than the White House is letting on, given the use of Regeneron's experimental therapy. President Trump also began taking remdesivir on Friday. Remdesivir once offered hope as an Ebola treatment and is now being used for severe cases of COVID-19. The president is also receiving zinc, vitamin D, a heartburn relief medication, melatonin, and aspirin. Some sources have also reported that he is taking vitamin C as well. Let's hope that President Trump makes a speedy recovery and is available for the next shit show with Biden scheduled to take place on August the 15th. That was a good description of the first debate between President Trump and the former number 2 Biden. We already know Trump will win big here in Destino because the folks here are staunch Republicans who don't take kindly to someone telling the U.S. president to shut up, man. Saying that to the POTUS showed that Joe's got testicles that resemble a pair of almonds with hall rot. Almonds, you say? Hey, if you don't ever say almonds, then you ain't from around here. There are still COVID-19 cases in our parts, so please, keep your face diapers on. Not everyone around Trump was wearing a face diaper. And have a beer now and again at the Redwood Tavern, because relaxation is always good medicine. Forests are still burning, but the air in Destino is getting better. It's only like smoking a half pack a day instead of the carton a day it was a few weeks ago. Of course, climate change has something to do with it. But why has anthropogenic been dropped from just about everybody's vocabulary? Thought of the week? Let's take a bit of Tolstoy. Everybody thinks of changing humanity, and nobody thinks of changing him or herself. We should all strive to comport ourselves like human beings. Be strong, Destino. Oh, I sounded so young. God. Yeah, the Sunday I made that podcast was so long ago. So I've been taking a 1965 Olympia Monica out for clickety-clack drives. Fuck it, dude. Let's go typing. The click-clack of a mechanical typewriter soothes me. And I bet you'd find it soothing as well, if you were around, that is. The 1965 Olympia Monica is a portable, but good luck trying to lug this puppy around. It's heavier than the heaviest legal bowling ball, which is 16 pounds. Yeah, I know, I look odd, but I can assure you that I'm looking better than you are. Yeah, madness. It just appeared the Sunday of that podcast, just a couple of hours after I uploaded the podcast. There was no descent into madness, nor was there an ascent. And even that would depend on your reference point, right? It hit me of a sudden, steamrolled me as I was walking down Main Street in Destino, California. Madness was everywhere, and it knocked the breath out of me as I got a punch in the gut. The faces I saw looked deformed, so I quickened my pace. Still, I couldn't escape those malformed faces on the verge of violence or suicide or hungering for some gluttonous want, or faces that were so sorrowful I marveled that they did not simply turn to dust. Something bad was coming, something I knew we couldn't come back from, but I had to push through it. So I pushed through the door of the Redwood Tavern and ordered a beer. There wasn't so much time left us, but no one knew that back then. I sure as hell didn't know, not really. But we all did, sort of, didn't we? Then how come we weren't living the life we wanted to lead if we knew the end was nigh? Or maybe you were. I kind of was. That was 5 years ago, and President Trump was in the hospital. I believe it was 5 years ago. It could have been 5,000 years ago. Because what is time when there is only time? I was teaching a couple English classes at Destino City College, or Silly College, as the kids called it. I was also working for the Destino Dispatch as a type of reporter. I enjoyed being a reporter, though all I did was basically steal stuff from the internet and put together a weekly podcast about the happenings around our town and the world. And I even had some editorial license to throw in my thought of the week, which was a hoot for me. Yeah, I got to pretend to be wise. Yeah. That Sunday was when everything started to go down the crapper. That was a phrase George, the owner of the Redwood Tavern, was fond of saying. It's all going down the crapper, Irvin. You better buckle up. Oh, yes. Excuse me. Irvin Marmaduke Wright, at your service. I am Wright, is what I like to call myself. A simple introduction. I was so young back then. Could you hear it? I wanted everything in the world to be perfect. And I was so full of piss and vinegar. Now, it's so quiet.